Let's get on a plane and head to the desert, Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada for our next matchup. And that is going to be the USC Trojans, newcomer to the Big Ten, playing against the LSU Tigers.
Yeah, so this is the fourth game we're talking about here. This game will be on Monday, September 1st. You got a whole weekend of football, and it should be a fun one. USC comes in at number 23 in the AP in the coaches poll. LSU comes at number 13. Both teams are featuring new quarterbacks. So for USC, it's Miller Moss. He had I think a 6-touchdown performance against Louisville in the bowl game last year. He was able to win the job as a starting quarterback. And then, a major key player for USC to watch for is Zachariah Branch. I think he was a freshman, All-American, great returner. But on the LSU side, the major area of focus was defense. Always a strong area for them. They brought back their old defensive coordinator from Missouri. And so they're expecting to kind of return that stout, strong defense that was able to, pick up some key wins, a couple of years ago against Alabama and in years past. This one should be a fun one. It's a pretty close spread. I forgot exactly what it was, but it's really close.
Yeah, we're looking at 4.5. I mean, you mentioned the defense at LSU. I think the defense at USC defense and USC are usually two words that don't go together. But they're changing things up there. You mentioned adding, putting Miller Moss in that starting position, and it would be a shame to ever doubt a quarterback under Lincoln Riley because we've seen his history at developing those. But looking at the defense there, they brought in the new defensive coordinator, Danton Lynn, who was over at UCLA and built a crushing defense there. Trying to bring that over, he brought some DBs with him. He brought some other players in from the transfer portal. So I think we'll see a transformed USC defense. Last year, 7 of 12 games, they gave up 34 or more points. That is, pretty rough, and everything's uphill from there. If they bring that same defense to this game, LSU will run away with it. I don't see that happening under this new DC out there. He did bring the DBs, changing a lot there. There's some questionability around the D line. So we'll see if Nussmeier and the Tigers can pull something together and attack this defense that they don't have tape on.
And we don't have tape on it. And, you hear us talk a lot about the portal. That's what's nice, right? At least if you don't have the players you think you need, maybe you don't express it the way Dion did last year. But if you don't have the players you think you need, you can get them in the portal. And that's kind of what USC did. And that's what, LSU did a little bit. Brian Kelly alluded to the fact that they didn't have a ton of money or that they didn't feel like certain players were worth the money. But both teams did make some key additions. And both teams last year, if they had defenses, they had Heisman quarterbacks with Caleb Williams and with Jalen Daniels. So Jaden Daniels, but this year will be interesting. We just don't have a ton to go off of tape wise. We understand the key losses, Malik Neighbors for LSU and Jaden Daniels for LSU, and of course Caleb Williams for USC. But it really is a fresh start. Hunter has LSU in his playoff bracket. USC is flying under the radar, so we'll see if this ends up being a ranked win for LSU at the end of the season. But for me, I do have LSU covering. I ultimately think they will win this game 24-17. And so how about yourself, Hunter? You're probably expecting more of a higher offensive performance given the defenses.
I am. Yeah. And USC flying under the radar. They're flying everywhere. They're going to be all over the country flying to their new Big Ten games. They don't have the luxury of staying on the West Coast anymore. So I'm sure that they would like to get the win that's close to home and delay the Big Ten entry for a little bit where they have to start hitting the airport. But no, I think that LSU attacks this defense. I think that it's still better than years past for USC on the defensive side. I think LSU comes out and puts up 34, wins 34-20, and is a great start to the LSU's campaign this season.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be excited for in Baton Rouge and those fans, and extremely passionate fan base. And so we're both predicting wins. It should be a fun one. I'm just happy that the football is not stopping after Saturday this week. That's one of the best parts about week 1.